Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 Kaiserreich as Romania. Let us continue on from where we last left off. The nationalization of German corporations. As German banks collapsed, so did the German corporations owning large parts of the Romanian oil industry. The exports-based economy of Romania crashed hard after demand for oil and agricultural product hit rock bottom in the Reichspakt, which has been Romania's main trading partner. Unemployment soared sky high in a fortnight, and our largest bank is on the precipice of collapse. While most non-syndicalist countries simply have to endure the collapse, our government holds significant control over our economic system. Should we desire so, we could obtain the assets to crash German corporations quite cheaply and nationalize the refinery industry, saving thousands of Romanian jobs in the process. This might not be a popular move in Berlin, however, but it could send a strong message about Cornell's government and a dedication to the well-being of all Romanians. I mean, you can nationalize them. Or pay them a little bit. No, just nationalize it. Stability, stinky stability. Germany has declared trade sanctions. Following the nationalization of German-owned oil industries, our relations with the Germans have been at a cracking point. Finally, Berlin has announced a high tariff on all Romanian goods entering Middle European markets, effectively shutting us off from that economic area. While this does give us economic freedom, what we have been looking for has been a horrible shock to our already straining export industry. Have to find new markets quickly to save our economy. Hey, Russia, I've heard you're in the market for some maybe for some oil. Maybe if somebody want to import some oil from us. Right now, no, they don't. But maybe at some point. I mean, oil. Again, it's kind of a thing that everybody needs. But I guess actually, if you think about it, in HOI4, you only need oil when you're at war, right? Like when Hearts of Iron 4 came out back in 2016, oil was like a good that you used to just build units with. They removed that for the fuel system, which is a good change. It makes way more sense. But now it's like no, but now you only really need oil when you're at war, which I guess makes sense. But like, you know, what if you just imported my oil anyways? Okay, Finland has collapsed. Did they go national populist or did they go socialist? Looks like they've gone national populist. Okay. Infiltrate the royal court. The king has appeared in public. Okay, so right now, Cornell's hold on the movement is contested with the right radical wing. Excellent. And the king has appeared in public. Until recently, King Carl has been appeared alongside Prime Minister Cornell in a public show of unity between the nation's two leaders. However, the king has begun appearing in public on his own, often impromptu without notifying the captain. It is no secret that Karl has been hoping to build up his personal base of support, independent from the Legion, and is clearly trying to threaten the Cornell's own position. Either we let the king's parade and avoid the controversy as the nation appears to united, or protest these displays of Karl selfishly threatens to sabotage their cooperation. I'm going to protest his decisions, because I hate the king. He smells. Relief work for the boycott, or for the relief work for the unemployed. Even though we have elevated the effects of the economic recession quite a bit, we've alleviated, not elevated. There's still a huge amount of unemployment in Romania. The government proposes state funding for relief work in Iron Guard administrative labor corps, while the king wishes to support private industrialists to provide elite jobs. While the first option would be a assured cure for the unemployment, the opponents of the king's policy argue that it would only be a temporary measure, which would not benefit the economy as a whole. Of course, we're not going to give anything to the king. Let's go for continuing legionary reform, more stability, more support. What are you, political power? Political power is so much worse than stability. I mean, I guess we are losing it. Just constantly, like 8% stability buys us 16 weeks, so 4 months of stability loss. What's 75 political power get us? Half of one reform? I think it's fine. We don't need that one reform. I will take 1918 weapons though, because hey, guess what? We're going to go into war in about 6, 7, maybe 8 months. So getting ready for a conflict makes perfect sense. For my legionaries. In spite of having a tackle on additional responsibilities of governance in addition to leading the legionary movement, the captain, Corneliu Zeliu Corino, has found enough time in his schedule to work on a new book, a volume that is part autobiography, part ideological manifesto. Titled For My Legionnaires, the book tells the story of its founder's life, from the fighting oath in the forest around Husi to the first raise into parliament and the assumption of the prime minister office. Heavily interspeeded with its author's musings on a host of topics from the role of the monarchy to that of the nation as a whole. Written in a relatively curt, diary-like style, spiced with various speeches, article quotations, letters, and Bible passages, it's proven very popular once published. In its first edition, selling out in a few weeks. 2,500 free examples distributed to members who could not afford it notwithstanding, and the demand for a new one gradually going up. The Prime Minister himself was surprised by the speed in which his volume flew off the shelves, and was said to have entered talks with new editions published with more ambitious voices, claiming it will also be translated into foreign languages soon enough. Yeah. Okay, a momentous occasion. Okay, he gets more control over the Legion, which is not what I wanted, because again, I wanted the radical wing to get a little bit more support here. We get new markets. At least two of the following must be true. Trade deal with the Russians, trade with the Entente, trade deal with the Greeks, and trade deal with the Serbians. Okay, I mean, that seems important. Is that, okay, so we do need to go to seeking new markets. We'll let this one finish. So we have 700 days on you, 300 days on it. So we need to get this one done first. So we'll get our legionary reform. Follow that, I guess you're going to go to seek new markets. Of course, we're going to be aligning ourselves with both Serbia and with Russia. And maybe Greece as well, you know, if they're interested. And who's the other one? It's the Entente, right? I don't really have any, I don't think I care about the Entente. Mostly because, again, if we're going to be going pro-Moscow, you know, realpolitik style, we're going to be kind of pro-international because they're anti-German. That's really our main interest here. Okay, safeguard banking sectors. There have been multiple attempts to conduct a comprehensive reform of land ownership in Romania after the Weltkrieg. Perhaps the most ambitious attempt to solve the unequal land ownership was the Legionary Land Reform of 1934, which came to a halt after the wealthy aristocrats asked the king to intervene on their behalf. This time, Prime Minister Corneo was defiant to go through with the large-scale plans of breaking up large estates and give the farmholds to the peasants who actually farm them. These large estates form easily over half of all arable land in Romania. The aristocracy seems quite worried about Corneo's plans, and there have been already multiple attempts for the king to stop, or at least very least, Milden the planned reform program. As the king does wield power to ultimately block any laws the parliament passes, the opinion and influence should not be ignored. It's hard to imagine that he would actually block the reform, but he surely would aim to go down his own ideas incorporated into the greatest reconstructing of the Romanian economy in the 20th century. Okay, 3% stability. Thank you very much. And how long will this take? So we got 3242. So we got 70 days on this. Royalist conspirators in the officer corps. The Royal Romanian army has always remained independent of the struggle between Karl II and Corneo, even if the two leaders have supporters within it. It has become clear, however, that a number of officers are showing increasingly blatant loyalty to the king, potentially trying to gain the army's support against Corneo. Before his royal conspiracy can grow out of hand, you may want to convince the general staff to punish these loud-mouthed royalists. However, Corneo is wary of meddling in the military's affair, for he knows how much they despise meddling and how dependent he is on their aloof attitude towards politics. I'm going to give myself a quick little save here, just in case. I don't want to immediately die. Yeah, give me one little save. We lose 100 command power and 30 political power. We go back up to equilibrium. We'll do that, and then I will immediately just harass political enemies. Legionnaire rally. I don't know why this boosts the king's dominance. I find that a little strange. Infiltrate the royal court. 70 days on you. Improves his influence. Weekly stability minus 1%. I guess we'll just go for infiltrate the royal court for now. Stability goes up. This also boosts the king's dominance. and he tightens his grip over the Legion, which is not what we want. Again, we want the radical wing get a little bit more power here. I'm not too sure what the Legionary Workers Corps or the Old Guard really do here. Yeah, seek more support from the radicals, thank you. Because I remember, I think there's only like the 2 paths, right? Like it's either Corneo's Triumphant or Captain Triumphant, which I guess there's actually 3 different heads of government here. Maybe that just determines who the head of government is. Because is this head of government? Your second in command, your head of government. How the captain be triumphant is somebody else is the head. I'm honestly not too sure how that works. Maybe it changes something down here, I don't know. The King's Mistress. The Romanian royal family, like every other, has a long history with extramarital affairs and marital infidelity. There is, however, an exception of discretion. Or expectation of discretion. Scandals are to be avoided and liaisons terminated should such a scandal occur. The king, however, not only appears to have no discretion whatsoever, indeed, he seems to take great pleasure in publicly flaunting his womanizing lifestyle. The origins of Elena Lucescu are a source of confusion and debate. It is known that she inherited her Catholicism through her mother, who is a Jewish-born convert. Her father, also Jewish-born, is a apothecary who converted to Eastern Orthodoxy. She was briefly married to a certain Lieutenant Ion Tomfnu, but divorced sometime after the war. It is not known when she met the king, but she only started appearing alongside him after he was crowned, and she quickly became one of his closest advisors. The king has long been known as a playboy, but he has been acting differently with his recent mistress. Unlike his previous affairs, the relationship appears very strong, giving Mine a significant and apparently lasting influence within Karl's inner circle. On the other hand, she has increasingly been targeted by opponents of King Karl, and they try to weaken his position. Get negative 30 political power, or you know what? Give me a little bit more support for national populism. The king. How can we trust the king? We can't. He's been bewitched. Okay, so we're negative 10% political power here. We're in recession, and everybody's a little bit mad at us. Do you expire? No, but you might expire at some point in the future. Hopefully. Maybe when you're at war. Okay, next up, we're going to go for seeking new markets. And after the bankruptcy of the large bank, Mamarsk Blanc in 1931, the government created safeguards to prevent such economic catastrophes from happening in the future. The Superior Banking Council was created to regulate and investigate the banking sector in 1934, and the institution has never been more necessary. While banks in many countries crashed hard and fast, the total collapse of Bianca de Credit Roman have prevented through the SBC safeguards. Catastrophe that broke the backs of great international German banks left the Romanian ones surprisingly unharmed. Give me a little bit of political power. Thank you very much. It's now September. Your election's in October, and I believe you need the election before you can start going down here. Yes, you can have your election, and then immediately start moving into forming the Belgrade Pact, and we can all beat up Bulgaria. Maybe Albania will side up with the Bulgarians, but I'm not really too worried about that either way. And if Albania actually joins the war against Serbia, we can make them into a little puppet state, which will probably strengthen our position in the future. Okay, the Republicans have won the election. Fantastic. Because the Republicans, guess what? They're not socialist, so they're not going to join the International, and they should eventually align themselves with the Russian Empire. You are going Russian Empire, right? I mean, you're Peter Wrangel. I know you can declare yourself the Emperor. In the Congress of Belgrade. The Serbian Republic has invited us to send a diplomat to Belgrade to take part in the Belgrade Congress, so that we may discuss the political and military situation in the Balkans. Since the victory of Bulgaria in the Vilkrieg, we have had our eyes on the land that is rightfully ours, as does Serbia. They suggest we form a new formal alliance called the Belgrade Pact to protect our mutual interests and contain the Bulgarian menace. This could, however, anger Bulgaria's former allies, Germany, Austria, and the Ottoman Empire. Of course, we will announce our support. Greece has joined in as well. Fantastic. I don't think the AI actually ever says no. I think they used to be able to say no. Many years ago. But I think it's been a while since any country is allowed to even say no to this. Youngest member of the Romanian parliament and a staunch supporter of the legionary movement, Mihai Slesco has quickly risen in the ranks of the movement. He was in many ways the very example of legionary his captain desired, radical, bold, and staunchly nationalistic. However, he had gathered his share of enemies during the first promotion during his fast promotion through the ranks of the guard into becoming one of Corneo's lieutenants. As such, many within the legion are at least suspicious of the young leader, and some even doubt his loyalty to the captain. Regardless, the whispers are enough to have gotten the attention of royalist agents who are now more than eager to exploit any cracks in the seemingly monolithic Iron Guard. How dare you? By the way, how much did he boost this? Is this greatly, which I think is a +2? I'd be happy with a +2. Austria's announced... Yeah, okay, I'm not surprised that that's happened here. So let's go with Serbia. We have 7 days on this. I mean, I should say yes. I mean, we're in the freaking food exports. Oil from Romania, expanded trade, and what I don't even know what we were doing with Serbia here. What do we get if this passes? We remove German sanctions. Okay, fantastic. Okay, tariff agreement with Serbian Republic. Serbian government happily agreed to our trade agreement offer. Low tariffs will ensure that our trade relationship endures despite the crisis and reduce our dependence on the German-Bulgarian hegemony. Fantastic. We get more stability, more construction speed. And then I want to go and trade with the Russians next. Make some friends there. Okay, now we can once again continue getting down to prosperity for all. I mean, we have 585 days. We have more than enough time for this to work. The Feast of the Holy Archangels. In Eastern Orthodoxy liturgics, the 8th of November bears witness to the Feast of the Holy Archangel Michael and Gabriel, as well as other bodiless powers of heaven. Across the country and beyond, many people celebrate their name days, many others their birthdays even. None, however, celebrate as proudly as the Legion of Archangel Michael, who, dedicated to the commander of the host of heavens, has driven Captain Cordial to declare their patron's feast day as a movement-wide celebration. Next meetings of the day were dedicated to commemorating their heavenly patron. Many areas held demonstrations and parades on the day for culminating in the divine liturgy attendance. Many churches reported spikes in attendance, driven by the movement's more pious members. Cornel Cordio himself had joined in the celebrations, sending celebratory messages and greetings to members and local organizations throughout the country, before attending the liturgy in Bucharest at his favorite church, Saints Il Gorgani. Thank you for the stability, and I think with that, it's going to be a good time for us to end this episode for now. So thanks to everybody for tuning in. If you enjoyed, my thumbs up. Not just a thumbs down. If you want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.